welcome to Leland Fly Fishing, Fly Tying Night tonight. I'm Brandon Moon, and tonight we're going to be tying up a really cool pattern, the little black stonefly, soft hackle nymph. This is a wire-bodied fly inspired by a copper john to imitate a black stonefly found in the winter and colder months. So with that, we want to go ahead and get started and invite you to leave us a comment in the comment section and let us know what you think of the video and what your favorite stonefly pattern is that you tie. So the hook that we're going to be using today is the Moonlit Premium Tōata ML 501. This is a standard forged jig hook in a size 14. I tie this in a 14 and 16. I'm using a matte black slotted tungsten bead from Moonlit in a 3.0 millimeter for the 14 and 12/0 classic wax thread, and I'm just going to start that behind the bead of the hook, and then I'm going to wrap it down just past the bend of the hook using my tag end to create a nice smooth underbody. I'm going to create a little bulge there just as I pass the bend of the hook to help bulge out my tail in just a minute. I'm going to take my Stonefly thread cutting tool and snip out the thread. Now I'm going to take a piece of black Goose Biots from Symmetrical, and I want this about half to 3/4 the length of the hook shank, and we'll just tie that in on the side. I'll go over the top twice and then in front once just to lock it in. And then I'm going to take another one and do the same thing on the other side so that they match. You'll see that I got this one tied in just a little too short, so I'm going to unwrap that, move it forward so I can line it up a little better, and then I'll secure that down. There we have in front again just to lock it in place. And I'm not wrapping too tight here because I don't want to pull those tail fibers right now. At this point I'm going to slide that bead back up over to the front. I'm going to trim out the Goose Biots here just beyond or behind that bead. I'll take and secure those Biots down. Now I can cinch that down and really dig into there, secure them down, hide them with my thread. Now we're going to go back all the way to the tail here. We're trying to keep this body as smooth as possible. Cover that up. Back forward again. You can see the tail splits really nice and good there. At this point I'm going to take a 2.2 millimeter tying wire in black, and I'm just going to slide that into the bead there on the top. Then I'm going to go back about a bead's length and then back forward where I half hitch this. Set that thread over on the bobbin rest. Now I'm going to start with my hands, and I'm going to give it a good couple, 3, maybe 4 wraps. Then I'll pinch it close with my fingers, and then I'll wrap another couple, 3 or 4 wraps. Slide it in again. We'll just keep doing this until we wrap it to the back, trying to keep all the wraps touching with the wire. We'll wrap all the way back to the back where the tail is at, and once we get to that point we're going to do an open spiral wrap going forward. And I like tying my wire in and wrapping it from the front to the back and then back to the front, because if I tie in the wire along the hook shank, it's going to create an unsymmetrical fly, and I want mine to be more symmetrical. So I'll lock that in over the top and in front a couple times. Then I'm just going to helicopter the remaining tag end of that wire off. Once I've done that, I'll flip it upside down, go back to where I'm going to start my thorax. I'm going to take some black pine squirrel dubbing, create a nice small dubbing rope here, I don't need very much. This is just going to help splay out my legs when I tie them in here. So we'll just create a little bulge there of dubbing for my legs to splay out. Now I'm going to take another black biot, and I want, just like on the tail, I want the curvature of this to go away from the hook. I'm going to measure that about halfway down the body and then tie it in. Over the top twice, in front once, and that just locks it in place. Now we'll take and do the exact same thing, curvature away from the hook, just like on the tails. Pinch it in, and then I'll lock it in. Length should be halfway down the body of the fly. Once we've got that secured in, we're going to take and snip that out as close as we can. Nice thing with this rotary is I can move it around and fix it as I need to. I'm just going to use that thread to kind of go over the top and push those biot tips back just a little bit. Put a little more pine squirrel dubbing on there. I don't want to put too much because I don't want to build too big of a bulge here. Once we've got that, we're going to go and we're going to make sure we're pushing those tip fibers back. And you can see that this method of tying in the legs is going to leave a nice protrusion out of the side of the body. Now I'm going to take a starling feather that I've prepped, and I'm just going to take and create a tie-in point at the tip of this. And that's just by palmering the feathers down. You can see the tie-in point there. We'll tie that in with our thread, secure it in, over the top twice, once in front to lock it in. Then I'll trim out that tag end. This just helps me get a secure with my thread over the top of the hackle. So now I'm going to set my thread off to the side so it's out of the way on the bobbin rest and take my hackle pliers. And I'm just going to give a couple wraps. This is going to be about 2 or 3 wraps with this starling here. It's not going to be super thick and full, just about perfect amount of hackle fibers versus being sparse. I'll lock that in, set it off to the side there, and then pull my fibers back just to help clean it up a little bit. You can see that it fell off. I'm just going to unwrap that and set it off to the side. I'm going to take a little bit of super glue and put it on here. This just helps make my knot more secure and strengthens it and gives it better durability. Pull the fibers back again, couple wraps to cover that glue into the thread, and it's going to seep in, and I'm just going to start doing a whip finish here, about 3 turns. And that glue in the thread is going to help glue this all together and make it nice and durable. Trim out my thread. Now I'm going to take my razor blade and put it up in there and pull that stem back and clean it up. And there you have the black stone soft hackle nymph. Thank you for watching.